What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ace of Plays channel and to something never before seen here on the channel. This is Fatal Core. This is a trading card game that's beta testing currently. I'm playing in browser because that's currently the only way to play this. So if you do want to try this after watching this video, there's no download required currently. Just go to fatalcoretcg.com. Register, log in. It's really quick, and again, no downloads, nothing. Just go to a website. I'm always looking for new card games to play because I really like the concept of card games, but I've been very disappointed recently by most of the games that I've tried because I'm really sick of mana systems and playing on curve and only playing what you can afford. And I mean, you guys watching this, most of you at least, are going to be Gwent players, just like me. And, we don't have that. We don't have mana. We have a big hand where we can play whichever card we want at any given turn. And it's all about, just strategizing and thinking, okay, which of all these cards should I play now? Which should I save? It's a really cool strategic element. You don't get mana screwed in any way. The main reason I stopped playing Magic. And Fatal Core is very similar to Gwent in many ways, including that one. There's no mana system. Each player plays one card per turn. There is a life total that you try to get down. You get your opponents down to 0. But the game is also limited to 12 turns. So at the end of 12 turns, if neither player is dead, the one with the most remaining life wins. So, there's kind of multiple ways to play this. You can either rush down your opponent's health, or you can just focus on just keeping yours higher for 12 turns, and you can win that way. There's no in-game audio, by the way. I don't know what I'm going to do for music and whatnot, but hey, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I've been playing this game for a few days now, and it is really, really cool. It's similar to Gwent in all the right ways. It's very rough around the edges. There's no pay-to-win aspect. Like, you can't buy anything with money. They are relying exclusively on, Patreon and donations, community funding. And, yeah, I really want to help spread the word about this game because I think it's really cool. I've been really enjoying it. I'm still very much a noob. We're going to be playing like a budget net deck today. But first, just a few things that I feel like explaining to anyone who hasn't seen this game before. So, the way this works. In Gwent you have factions, Skellige, Northern Realms, monsters. In Fatal Core you have these leads. I don't know whether they're called leads and not leaders. I mean, they are people. But you have these leads. And, they have access to different cards. There are cards that are exclusive to only one lead. I'm probably going to say leader a lot, but it's lead. There are a lot of cards that are available to 2 leads at the same time. And of course there are neutrals, which anyone can play. But outside of, card exclusivity, how do these play differently? Well, you see these squares? The game board in Fatal Core, each player has 6 squares, 2 rows, 3 columns. Gwent players are of course familiar with row-based gameplay. And column it's the same but downwards. So don't worry, it's not rocket science. But you have 6 slots, and don't worry, the game is of course designed around only having 6 slots. But you have 6 slots which each have modifying effects. So on Joanne, she has like +0, +1, +0, +2, -1, -1. And what this means is that any creatures that are placed on these slots gain these stat modifications. So if you have a creature you really want to protect with a lot of health, Joanne players can play them on these 0-2. And, just really, really get them going. So it's all about, strategic placement. Of course, You don't want to be stuck with only -1/-1 slots if you're going to play like a really fragile but important creature. So you got to play around this. And you know that's the main way that the leads are separated in playstyle. You can see Jeddo here has, you know, this very aggressive one, +2, -1. But also, you know, sort of a defensive one here. But then you have some really interesting ones, like Prisoner 218, which has 5 stat-altering ones, but then this MM. This is Mana Magnet. This is basically how counter spells work in this game, because there's spell countering here. Creatures placed in this space have Mana Magnet, and there are creatures that also have Mana Magnet automatically, just on themselves, no matter where you put them. And what this means is that if you have a creature with Mana Magnet and your opponent plays a spell, that spell will be cancelled, and your creature will be erased. Erased is basically that it dies. But it's like exile from Magic or banish from Gwent, and I'll get back to very soon how that is different from just normal dying. But you know, if you have like cheap creatures that are just, you know, token creatures or just very disposable, you can give them Mana Magnet with Prisoner 218's MM slot, and you can counter your opponent's spells. Here we got Hush, which is the one we're going to be playing today. I really like this one. You know, he's got very basic stat modifying ones, but he also has 2 graveyard slots. At the end of turn, if the graveyard is empty, summon a corpse here. So every turn, if these slots are empty, we'll get a corpse. And when creatures die, when they're not erased, but they just die, they leave a corpse behind. And you can't play anything on that slot until you remove the corpse. Hush also has some creatures that can only be played on top of corpses, which of course is why he does have natural corpse generation. And of course Hush decks are built around the fact that you have access to these corpses. You play creatures that can only be played on top of corpses. You play creatures that buff themselves the more corpses you have. It's a really cool way of playing. And I'm a big fan of these elites that have slots that aren't just stat modifications, but also do stuff. I hope this makes sense. This will all make sense once we get into the gameplay, because you'll see the cards that affect the graveyard. We also have Kahar, which is like a buff Viking dude. I also really like this guy. He has a life slot. As long as you have a creature in the life slot, you'll get 1 life at the end of each turn, just to keep you going. It also has the rage slot. Creatures here get rage 1 unless they already have rage 1 or bigger. What rage does is that each turn they lose 1 health but gain 1 attack, which is a lot of what Kahar, this Viking dude, is about. Rage. This is really cool because you can like build up like a massive offensive threat just in the rage slot. Of course, but it does get more and more vulnerable. And with how combat works in this game, that's kind of important, because the way combat works is that all creatures just, at the end of each turn, the creatures deal their power and damage to the opposing player. There's no assigning attackers or blockers, so yeah, just having something that's like an 8/1 could be broken. But of course there are effects that go around this, and of course next turn he'll become a 9/0, he'll die, and he'll leave a corpse in the rage slot, so you can't play anything else there until you get rid of the corpse. We also have Maldiva, which I've barely looked into, but she has very swingy stat modifiers on the edges here, and just some very basic ones. I haven't seen this be played, but anyway, God, I hope I'm not boring you guys. I'll just it was important to explain this. Now, this is what a deck looks like. Fatal Core decks have 18 cards, so if you thought, there were no card games that had less cards in your deck than Gwent, think again. 18 cards. You draw 6 at the start of the match, 12 turns maximum. So you will see basically every card. There's no thinning. There are some redraw cards where you put some cards back, I guess, and you draw new ones. But you'll basically see every card, every game. But you only get to play 12 of them. So, always be prepared that some of these cards you won't even be playing. So this is a Hush deck. I'm not going to go over every card because, I'm not an expert on these cards, and most of you guys probably don't even understand what's going on. But I just wanted to show you the setup here. You have 6 C cards. These are the weakest, most common cards. And then you have B. You have 5 of A. You have 4 of an S, the best cards in the game. You only have 3 of. So it's not the provision system, but it's similar to Beta Gwent, where you had gold, silver, and bronze. Except there are 4 categories, which helps it be even more spread out, which I really, really like. I think this is a very simple but clean way of balancing decks. And all decks must have these amounts. So you can't have only 3 A's and put in an extra B. So it's always this, so all decks, in a perfect world where card balance is perfect, all decks will have access to the exact same amount of power. And, the decks are small, consistency is high, it's all good. Like I said, I will not be going over all the cards here. It doesn't really seem that necessary for this video, but I wanted to show you just a couple of the cards that work with Hush's graveyard ability. You have Enthralled Phantom, which each turn erases all corpses on the board, on your board, and gains +1 attack for each corpse erased. Every turn we could get like 2 corpses just on those graveyard slots. Enthralled Phantom will remove them, opening up those slots if we need them. Otherwise, we'll get new corpses, and Enthralled Phantom will keep getting bigger. This card is really, really cool. I'm a big fan of it. We also have Vehement Ghoul. This guy's fabulous. I love him. He reminds me a lot of Papyrus from Undertale. He has Resolve 1, which is just, at the end of each turn. Or is it each turn? Some things happen each turn, and some happen end of turn. It's a little bit hard to grasp in the beginning. I know I struggled a little bit, but it does make sense. At least at some point every turn, he gains 1 health. So this guy has 8 health, Resolve 1, very resilient. Must be played on top of a corpse. I mentioned this. Each turn he gains +1 attack for each corpse you control. He doesn't erase them, but he keeps gaining power. He starts with -4 power. I didn't see the minus the first few times I played this, so I thought it was a 4/8 with this ability. But when I played him, and his ability triggered, and he had -3 attack, I was like, what the hell's going on here? But he starts with low attack, but he is so resilient, and he does really, really grow. We also have... I have 2 copies of Zeal, Gold Knight of Anza. I don't know if that's good. I had 2 of them, and I don't have that many S cards. He has Slow 3. Slow is a mechanic that just means that... Slow X means that it can't be played until X turn. So this guy can't be played until turn 3 or later. He has Hunt, which means that if there are enemy creatures, he will attack those instead of the player. So he can remove a lot of stuff. It's not like combat, so he doesn't get damaged back, but he attacks them instead of the player. If there are no enemy creatures, he will attack the player normally. And each turn he summons a Phantasmal Lancer to a random empty space on your board. And it's you can't really zoom in on a bunch of cards here, but it's the guy on the side here, a 3/2, which deals 5 damage to itself at the end of the turn. So this guy keeps generating units that will attack for 3 damage, maybe 2 if it's on a minus attack slot. And then they kill themselves. They become corpses, which, works with our game plan. So that's why Zeal is here. Just to keep making corpses for us, but also putting in a lot of work. This is a good card. And that's what I wanted to show you. So I'm not going to play against a player, because I want to be able to take my time. explaining things, making sure you guys, are following me. So we're gonna do versus bot. This is not the Gwent AI though. If you play on hard, they're difficult. They're actually difficult. I lose a lot. Okay, but let's get into yet another mechanic of this game. Each player can see the other player's hand. You see what the opponent has. And you play cards simultaneously. One card per turn. Both players choose a card and targets, and then they're played at the same time. There's no going first or second. So you have to look at your opponent's hand, anticipate what they might do, try to play around that, knowing that they also know what you have. Which I think is really, really interesting. But in your opening hand, you get to hide 2 cards. So your opponent cannot see these cards at all through the game. Until you play them, of course. And you also have 1 more card you can hide throughout the game. So every time you draw a card, if you haven't already hidden one, you'll get the option to hide it or show it. And yeah, you can really go multiple ways with this mechanic. You can just hide your biggest cards if you want to, not show your opponent that you have your big boys. But I'm going to hide Expert Spell Thief because she's a mana magnet, so that... I don't know how much the bots care about hiding, but in a proper match, hiding the fact that I have a mana magnet could bait the opponent into playing differently. And I'm just gonna hide my big boy. As you can see, our opponent has 2 cards hidden, the rest we can see. And now, both players will choose cards to play. 80 life. Let's see what he has. If you control less than 3 creatures, summon an elemental knight randomly to your board. Give your elemental knights and elemental sprites +1/+1 and hunt. Good card. Sadly, there's no way to look at the cards and see what the spawned tokens do. Hopefully this will come later in development. Tremor is a card I also have. It's similar to Lacerate in Gwent. It deals 3 damage to each creature on an enemy row, and it also deals 1 damage to every other creature that they have. Target creature on your board gains +4 attack, redraw 1 card. Pretty good. Deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures. Summon a Cinder in target space on your board. Cinders are like these fairly fragile guys, but they deal 1 damage to a random enemy creature every turn. But why don't we play? Why don't we play this game that we're playing? So we can't play Vehement Ghoul because we don't get the corpses until the end of the turn, I guess. This guy does 2 damage to a random opposing creature for each corpse on your board. We can play him, but he's not going to do anything yet. Undermine will field change on an enemy column. So, either these, or these. He'll change both fields on the column to -0, -2, and then deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures. This is a pretty good card, especially against... if you can pull this off against Prisoner 2/1/8 and take away their mana magnet slot and just turn it into a negative health slot, that can be really good. But I think I'm just gonna play a mana magnet. And because she's gonna die at some point anyway, I'm just gonna put her in a slot where she'll hit for 5 potentially this round, but only have 1 health. But again, yeah, I mean the bot played Cinder Blast, which deals 1 damage to all opposing creatures. Summon a Cinder. A strange card to play now, but of course, they had to predict what I was going to do. They don't get the Cinder because the spell was actually negated, because we had a mana magnet. And you always have this log, which you can scroll through the turns as the game goes on. And see what card each player played. Incendiary Stream. Slow 4, so it can't be played until turn 4 or later. It targets a row on the opponent's side and deals 8 damage to every creature. It's a massive removal spell. I don't know if they would care that much about it, so I'm just going to show it. Like, I'm not going to care too much. They drew Grim Harvest. They gain 2 health, erase all corpses in play, and gain 1 health for each corpse erased. This counters us a little bit because they remove our corpses and gain life from them. But we can now play this guy, and if the opponent plays a creature, we will deal a total of 4 damage to it. He has 5 health, so we can just play him wherever. And they just play Grim Harvest. That's fine. Because, we get the back. We get the corpses back. Bound Siren is a really cool card. Oh, hit your Listless Devourer. So this is unique. I guess this guy as well. Which means you can only have 1 in the deck. Normally that doesn't even matter, really, but you can only have 1 in the deck. I actually have a C card, the most common rarity. That is unique. Because it's pretty good, but you can only have 1 of it. This guy at the end of the turn, if there are 4 or more creatures on your board, you erase them and become Energized Devourer. Which sadly we can't look at right now, but it's a pretty good creature. Pretty good creature. I'm just going to play Bound Siren. It has Hunt and Rage 1. So he plays this. So every turn she will lose 1 health and gain 1 attack. She hunted this guy and actually killed it, because she went up to 3 strength. And what's nice about this is, it becomes more and more threatening. And it keeps hunting the opponent's creatures, take them out, and then at some point it dies, becomes a corpse, which is also good. We drew Shadow Eater. This is a pretty good card. I like this. Target creature gains +3/-1 for each corpse in play. I usually use this as removal, because already it's dealing 3 damage, or removing 3 health from a creature. But, I could also put it on this guy, give him +9 attack, make him a 13-1. But this early in the game, that doesn't really seem that good. Another Grim Harvest, which kind of sucks. Takes away my corpses. And if he's going to do that, I might as well just play a Vehement Ghoul. He's going to start buffing up. She kills that. Before I even get a chance to show you what it does. Initialize is this guy, Jetto. It's a keyword just for him. It's basically deploy from Gwent. Something that happens as soon as you play this. Erase a random Cinder, which is, these, I think they're 2/1 tokens that deal 1 damage randomly. But if you have one, and you play this, you erase it, so banish it, exile it, and she gains +4 attack, which is pretty good. I drew another Bound Siren. Again, a good card. Good card. So I could play Astral Guide, actually. You know what? I haven't played this card before, but that actually seems pretty good. So what he does is he's going to change this field to 0/3. And then he erases himself at the end of the turn. But he's still going to hit for 5, which is pretty big. Yeah, we got a Zeal. Let's hide that. Let's just hide that. Unique, slow 3, summon a Cinder, Elemental Sprite, and Elemental Knight in target row on your board. If there are no other creatures on your board, give them +0/+1. He doesn't really have that many slots left, so I'm expecting a Grim Harvest first to clear this board. But the reason I did this, now that this is a 0/3, we can play the Bound Siren here. She gains 9 health, which, she loses 1 health, gains 1 attack every turn. She's really going to start building up. That's a really, really neat combo. And this guy almost has positive attack now. Man, things are going well. Things don't usually go this well, even against the AI. Jesus Christ. I don't even have spots for this guy to spawn things. But I guess we'll play him. And there's the Grim Harvest. So he's gonna gain a bunch of life. It's not gonna be enough though. And now we have room to get the Lancer, deal an extra 3 damage. He gains the Resolve health. The Lancer kills itself. We get a corpse. Everything is good. So he now drew Bell, Ash, and Hierophant. Unique slow 3. Each turn deal 2 damage to a random opposing creature. And at the end of each turn deal 3 damage to a random opposing creature. I don't like her. But we have... This guy's gonna deal 4 damage. This one hunts. It's gonna hunt for 4 damage. He hunts for 3 damage. So I think we got pretty good control on the board. I could play this. No, I'm just gonna skip my turn. Alright, so now he could play this, which is pretty good. That's a good card. I mean, look at all this stuff that he gets, but... Alright, the 4-1 survived. A lot of random damage, but with such small boards, the random damage really hasn't been, you know, super impactful to the point of it being bad. If that makes sense. I'm gonna play Haunt. It's gonna erase a random corpse, or one of these two, and it's gonna deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures. And on success, so if it does deal 1 damage to all opposing creatures, it does it again. And I'm just gonna click go. The reason I'm doing this is just to make sure this dies. I mean, it would have died anyway. I mean, look at this. Look at this. She deals 2 damage to that, but then this hunts that. And then he spawns that. And then they all hit the face. Things happen really fast. When I first started playing, I had no idea what was going on. So I really hope you guys aren't completely lost. Obviously, things are going really well. This bot is not performing as well as they normally do. My board is kind of full, so I can't really do much. Alright, Tremor. What are you killing? So he killed my my strong woman. But now I have 3 corpses, so this guy gains 3 attack each turn. Here's that unique C tier card I was talking about, Scatter Shot. It's basically Delirium. It deals 1 damage 6 times. It's a pretty good card though. Is he gonna play a unit? Erase a corpse, summon 3 cinders. He might. I'm just gonna play Tremor here. So if he does play any unit, it's gonna go here and it's gonna take 3 damage. Yeah. So he's actually gonna kill this, which kind of sucks. But that just gives me an extra corpse here. Wait, didn't I play my card? I guess I didn't click it properly. It's kind of wacky. It's still in beta. You know, we're still beta testing this shit. I mean, with the buff from him, I might actually... I'm actually gonna just barely get him to 0. No, wait, what? Oh, because he's hunting. Yeah, sure. We didn't get him to 0, but we are victorious because the game ends. And we did pretty well, if I do say so myself. And we got 2 PF, which is the currency that you use to buy packs or trade cards. You trade cards with other players. You post trades requesting a certain amount of PFs and EFs. I don't know what these stand for. But I just know that for 5 PF you can get an Enigma pack, which is 3 cards. But you can't get S tier cards from this, I'm pretty sure. Paradox pack cost 100. You get 5 cards, and there's a chance to get a S rank card. I think when I started playing, I had like 3,000 PF. That's just what you start with, I guess. And that's fun. That's very fun. Let's do another one. Let's do Prisoner 218, because this is the one I'm... No, wait, no, Joanne is the one I'm struggling the most against, so let's see if you guys get to see me lose. Alright, Enthralled Phantom is good. You have 1 mulligan. You can just switch out your hand once. I think the Tremor is really good here. I'm gonna hide that. I'm also gonna hide Shrine Servant. It's just 2 or 3 mana magnet. It's pretty good. This, ugh. So basically, what this deck does, it has a lot of like ping damage, and then it has these assholes that erase a random creature with 2 or less health on the opponent's board, and it just passively destroys all my shit. And this has a resolve 1, so it just keeps getting tankier and tankier. I don't like that. Especially when all my slots give minus health. So this is a very bad matchup, which is partially why I went for it. I'm not expecting a spell this turn, so I'm gonna play this Enthralled Phantom. See this guy. He deals 1 damage to a random creature on the opponent's board every turn. And as long as he does that successfully, he also gains +1 attack. This guy is sick. I hate him. I hate him so much. Ugh. He's already got 6 health too. Jesus Christ, I hate him. And yeah, he's also got this one that deals 2 damage and then 3 damage every single turn. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't even feel okay. Honestly, it does not feel okay. Vehement Ghoul is pretty safe in this matchup, but it's a slow card. But if he keeps killing my cards... but he's gonna erase a lot of them. I'm gonna play the Ghoul. I'm gonna play the Ghoul and see where it takes us. Oh, Scattershot. Spreading 6 damage randomly. This guy is almost dead. But at least he gains 1 health every turn. The Bound Siren is good. The Hunt is really good. Because you really gotta get this shit off the board. I hate it so much. Oh, and he's got Baragast. So, I don't really know what the sequencing of things actually happening is. But I know that this guy's a bitch, because each turn, erase an opposing creature with Hunt, which I had. Render this creature soulless. Soulless means that it loses all abilities and stat changes, and it's unaffected by stat changes on the field. So he just has his base stats, and he loses the ability, so he can only do it once. But he checks each turn. If there's a creature with Hunt, he erases it, and then he loses its effect. But now I can play this guy and hopefully hunt down that asshole. And there's a mana magnet. That is also blasting. You know, killing that is good, because that's a mana magnet that also deals 3 damage every turn. We got another Zeal. I don't know. Field change +3 -2. Yeah, not that many spells. We could see a Tremor here. A Tremor would be really bad. It would kill both of these. So if I put down a Shrine Servant, Okay, we just see this. Which each turn will erase random creature. But we killed it, actually. We killed it. With the hunt. Let's see. Summon a Kuronagi Bandit and target space on your board. Success. Deal 3 damage to a random opposing creature. I mean, that could actually be a nice play right now. So the Behemoth Ghoul is still staying at 4 health, and he's up to 5 attacks, so he's actually really putting in work. I could use the Shadow Eater to kill this. He's gonna get like -5. I might just want to do that, because if he pings this, then... Let's try that. And he plays a Mana Magnet, so it just gets absorbed. But at least she dies, and that's a proper ass card. God, I hate this card. But we're being very successful. We still have 6 turns to catch up in life, so we don't die. But this guy is so huge. Why doesn't he die? Why can't you kill him? Alright, we have a full board, which is pretty bad. I do feel like the board fills up a little bit too quickly, I don't know. I'm just gonna play this to kill him. And there's that. But see, now we killed this. And deal 1 damage to everything else. He might hunt her. Unless she... Okay, she attacks him. Hunt her. Yes, good. 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 We're dealing a lot of damage. We are catching up, actually. We are catching up. And this is just a 3-3. We have this... this guy. He looks so cool. There's not much we can do, though. I guess I can Tremor here and kill this. I'm also going to kill this because he had to play it there. And that would erase those corpses and gain attack from it, but we killed it. And now our 5-1 Hunter can just go face. And yeah, we're looking pretty good now. And the opponent only has 1 spot left. And we have a Hunter. Let's see what he has. Again, this would be pretty good. But he would have to play it here, where it gains, gains 2 health. This deals 3 damage. You know, at this point, I really just want to make sure that whatever he plays, I kill. So I'm just going to play my big 8 damage Lacerate. Oh, you got a Harvestman? No, you don't. And yeah, we win. I did not expect that. This deck works better than I thought. So like, there's something about this. Like, I love the corpse mechanic, but it feels really like I've had matches, of course, against AIs, but still I've had matches where their entire board is filled with corpses, and it is what it is. Ooh, I have exactly 100 PF. Let's open a Paradox pack. That's perfect. I was hoping to hit 100, but I didn't think I did. So it looks kind of wacky, but what do we got? All right. Each turn, give all creatures you control +1/-1. I like this one. Each turn, summon a Defiant Spirit into a random space on your board. Success, deal 2 damage, discard Disciple. So, you know, this can spawn up to 3 Defiant Spirits, which is one of those token types that there is definitely a tribal aspect to. So being able to spawn 3 with just this is pretty good. And then it dies. You can use the corpse. You can play this with the Kahar, the Viking dude, and he does have some corpse play as well. This one was really cool. You give slow 9 to a card in your opponent's hand, so they can't play it until turn 9 or later. And you give all their creatures -1/-1. This feels like a really cool card. And this one, each turn erase a random corpse on your board. Success, field change to hunt. So he takes one of your fields and changes it to hunt. So anything you play there gets hunt. That's... I have one of these. I've played with it before. It's really cool. Leyline Wolf, hunt. Each turn, if there is a soulless creature on your board, gain +1/+1. Alright. So that was Fatal Core. As you saw, and like I said, the game is still very rough around the edges. And as a new player, or as a viewer who probably has never seen this before, it's kind of hard to pay attention and grasp what's going on. Hopefully I explained it well enough. But things happen very fast. And, you know, as Gwent players, we are used to animations taking half an hour each. So we have very good time to see what's going on. But I do really, really recommend you try this game. It's completely free. There's no pay-to-win aspect. So no one with money can get ahead of you by paying money. And there's some really cool mechanics. The card pool is small, but I mean, I just saw today on Discord that they showed a few new cards that they're gonna put in very soon. You know, they're constantly working on the game, putting in new content, and I'm really enjoying playing it. And like I've mentioned earlier, like it takes so much of what I love about Gwent and just puts it into a different game with a healthy amount of new mechanics, fresh mechanics that make this game stand out and feel really good. So if you like card games, you like Gwent, and you're not into the whole mana system type of card games, I recommend this. Fatal Core is a game that I will definitely keep playing from time to time. If there's an interest for it, I will of course make videos about it. At least every now and then, you know, when I have something to show, when I have something to play. I'll play against real people next time, so like and subscribe for real people. But yeah, I adore this game. Actually, it's just like, you know, a bunch of people who wanted to make a game. You know, they had their ideas. They started to take them off the paper and put them into an actual game, and it's good. It's got so much potential, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with this. I really am. So if any of you Fatal Core guys are watching this, great job. I enjoy your game, and I will definitely keep following it, playing it from time to time, and hopefully make some content for it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I know this is not Gwent. This is not what you're used to seeing here. But I really want to show off this game. I've been playing it for a few days now, and I've been really enjoying it. It's good. It's good. And no, this video was not sponsored, okay? I just wanted to do this out of the kindness of my heart and the enjoyment of this game. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Have a good one. More Gwent coming soon, of course. I just needed a break from Gwent and all the people involved in it. Except for the lovely people out there who understood that the Poison Nilfgaard stuff yesterday, it was a joke. Me playing that deck is an obvious joke. I just thought it would be funny to play that stupid cancer deck and also donate the proceeds to cancer research, because it was like, hey, that's cool. Anyway, bye. Like and subscribe for real people. We keep it real here on the Ace of Plays channel. Except for when we play against the bots. But I'm real. Oh baby, I'm real.